Hail, adventurer! Might you have come at the behest of Miss Modi of the Quicksand? Excellent, which brings us to the matter of the attunement fee. That will be 100,000 gil, if you please, ma'am. Apologies, but I do so relish the opportunity to make that jest. The look on your face was absolutely priceless. Ah, but the fact that you were so easily deceived suggests to me that you are unfamiliar with the use of aetherites. Allow me to explain. These crystalline agglomerations tap into etherical energies and are primarily used as a means to travel swiftly from one place to another. Perchance you have heard of return and teleport? Well, these transportation spells make direct use of the aetherites and their connection to the flow of aether. Given that there is an aetherite in almost every corner of Eorzea, any adventurer with a mind to explore the realm will wish to seek out and attune herself to each and every one. But even if you have no intention of wandering beyond the Sultanate's borders, it would be prudent for you to attune yourself to any aetherites you encounter from now on. I pray you found that informative. Should you wish to learn more about aetherites or transportation magic, I should be happy to answer your questions. You attune with the aetherite. You are now able to use the return spell. I heard Lulutsu. So, you're Sophie Hiscaris. That is a good, strong name. On behalf of the Gladiators Guild, allow me to welcome you. I am Mila, Guildmaster here. So, you wish to study our arts. I presume you have your reasons for choosing the sword over all other weapons. Perhaps you think it easiest to learn. A sword is a simple weapon, but to wield a blade well is anything but simple. For every Colosseum champion to emerge from our ranks, there have been countless disappointments who failed to achieve greatness. Bear that in mind before you answer me, Sophie, for I do not ask this question lightly. Have you the strength to live by the sword, and, if it be your fate, die by it? Then, welcome, Gladiator, to your new home. Let's not waste time, shall we? I would gauge your aptitude for the sword. Just outside the gates of Ul'dah, you'll find plenty of marmots, hornets, and shrews. Slay 3 of each and return here when finished. A simple task, but essential to your training nonetheless. Now go. You stand in the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, the busiest and most profitable marketplace in the Sultanate. Being advantageously situated in relation to the other city-states, Ul'dah's markets have ever served as both the literal and figurative centers of Eorzean commerce. All the great overland trade routes lead to our city, and the majority of maritime trade between Vilebrand and Aldenard passes through our ports. Wait, what? I've played through this game a couple of times, and I don't remember ever hearing Vilebrand or Aldenard. And also, what ports? There's no ports in Ul'dah. That doesn't make sense at all. Because of this, countless companies and consortia have chosen Ul'dah as their base of operations. They'll see to it that this marketplace is awash with merchants and moneylenders day and night. Anything a man could ever desire can be purchased here, provided he has sufficient funds. Surely there's something you seek, adventurer. A deadlier sword, perhaps, or a shinier trinket. Whatever it is you want, the exchange will have it. To the north, you will find merchants peddling armor and accessories, curatives and crafting materials. And to the south, you will find weapons, tools, and an assortment of other useful items for sale. Seek out a particular merchant, or browse to your heart's content. But do try to remain aloof should you find something that piques your interest. Decisions made in the heat of the moment are usually unwise, especially when coin is concerned. Ahem, that is all the complimentary aid you shall have from me, and far too much for my taste. My regards to Momodi. Now, off with you. How was your tour of the city, Sophie? Get lost, did you? Aye, well, Uldaw's a big place with lots to see and do, but wandering around aimlessly don't pay the bills. If you're serious about making a living here, you'll need to remember where things are. By the way, two things. One, I know I didn't show the city off, I just did the cutscenes, but there's lots of stuff that happens in Uldaw throughout the storyline, so you'll see plenty of the city as we go. But on a side note, I wanted to point out too that I don't think this gets talked about enough in Final Fantasy XIV, but Final Fantasy XIV, no matter which city you start in, does a fantastic job of doing like breadcrumb quests to get you started and get you to where you know the city that you're put in, like without just being like, go talk to the blacksmith, go talk to the shop owner, go to this person, go to that person. Like, the quests aren't amazing story stuff, but they do like breadcrumb you throughout the city so that you find everything you need to find, and you get a good, like, you get around the city and attune to all the aetherites and stuff like really well. And it doesn't matter which city you're in, to do a really good job of it. So I personally have always really enjoyed that about Final Fantasy XIV, and I don't think it gets enough respect for that. But if you're wanting to see more of the city, don't worry, there will be plenty of all the cities throughout the playthrough here. So when you go exploring like you got a purpose, eh? Alright then, all that's left is for your hard work, is for you to work hard, make money, and spend it here at the quicksand. Well, young'un, how are you finding our fine Uldaw then? Got your bearings about you yet? If so, mayhaps it's time you ventured beyond the city walls. The bustling streets of Uldaw are one thing, but the wilds of Fanland, that's another altogether. I know a bloke you might fancy speaking to, and he to you. Name of Papashan. You'll find him over at the Uldon Dispatch Yard. No doubt he'll have some work for you. The dispatch yard's over in central Fanland. Just head out the door across the hall and you'll see the gate of Nald staring right back at you. Pass through it and head east. You'll come upon it before long. There's dangers beyond the wall though, more than I'd care to count. Nothing too terrible, mind you, but feisty enough to attack if you draw near. Don't say nobody cared enough to warn you. All the people running around. All up on my screen. Get off my screen! I'm trying to make a recording. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick before we got... I'm going to run through Uldaw some here so you guys can see a little bit of it. Before we get too carried away is, why am I doing this now? Like, why am I doing a Let's Play on Final Fantasy XIV, a game that's been out for, you know, 5 years now? Why now? Well, a couple of things. One, many people don't realize this, but I actually started on YouTube with Final Fantasy XIV. I had an account under a different name where I did, right when the game first came out, I did instead of story, I was doing guides. How to set up your HUD, how to tank some boss fights. I did actual full dungeon runs too, like with full video, like the first, I think I did like the first 8 dungeons or so. So I was actually pretty actively involved in Final Fantasy at the very beginning, and that's how I got my start on YouTube. But then I decided I liked Let's Plays better, so I did those. So that's part of it. It's just that I have been, you know, I've always been playing Final Fantasy on and off. But the other side of it is, why now? Well, to be quite frank, the last year I kind of took a break from Final Fantasy. I beat Shadowbringer's storyline, the main storyline, which is the most recent expansion, and I kind of stopped. I haven't done any of the content since, and I am planning to go in and do it, but there's a new expansion Endwalker coming up later this year, and because I haven't been doing the storyline, I was thinking about how much has changed, and I don't know, it could be nostalgia, but part of me thought with Endwalker coming up and it apparently being like a bookend for the story that's currently going on, where all the build-up for the last couple for all the previous expansions is supposed to come to an end now. I thought, well, now might be a really good time to do a Let's Play going through everything, and then going through Endwalker when it comes out and seeing that end of the story. So I figured now is as good a time as any other. And I can use the refresher, to be honest. It has been a long time since I've played through the story. I do have multiple characters, but to be completely honest, I really only played the storyline one time, well, 2 times for the main story, and then any character I've made in the last couple of years, I bought a boost for, so I didn't have to do the story, because as great as the story is, it is a lot of hours of play. Like, so we're heading out here to Papa Sean. There he is. Well, you certainly look the part of an adventurer, my friend. Might you be the good soul Momodi advised me to expect? I am Papa Sean, station master of this humble dispatch yard. An empty title, I assure you. I truly am no more than a tired old Lothafel passing his final years in quiet and solitude. 12, no. There have been plenty of both these last 5 years since the calamity struck. The devastation was vast. Yet, now true Oldans work together, doing all in our power to rebuild what was laid to ruin. By the sweat of our brows and the love of our home, we have rebuilt Ul'dah to our grandeur and majesty that you see today. The railways, which run through this dispatch yard too, were born of the noble efforts of a great many souls. But there's still much work to be done. The wounds left by the calamity run deep. Isolated areas beyond our lines of supply remain, and there are places yet wanting for relief and restoration. Ul'dah needs the aid of you and your brethren, friend. In fact, never has our need been more dire. Which brings me to the point, I suppose. I do believe I may have some work suited to one of your ability. That was dumb. Future advice, don't take the gear, take the gold. I'll explain why later. Since you've come all this way, perhaps you can perform an errand for me. It just so happens a number of sentries have been sent to guard the area, a dispatch to the dispatch yard, as it were. They have long been away from the shade and feather beds of the city. The hot days and cold nights can play hell on the mind and body out there. It isn't much, but go and give them these twilight pretzels, would you? I find comfort food always helps when I feel like killing myself. Papa Sean, do you feel like killing yourself often? Because now I'm a little worried for you, buddy. Why should you choose gold over gear for now? Until you hit level 15, I recommend gold over gear because you're gonna level through stuff so fast that it's pointless, and then when you hit level 15, you get a bunch of free stuff. That's way better than anything you got from the quest anyway, so yeah. Halt, madam, I'm going to have to ask you to put the pretzel on the ground and place your hands above your head. State your name and business. The Twilight Pretzel from Papa Sean. By the gods, forgive me. You could say this new post has my nerves in a twist. I'm terribly sorry for that. Yes, well, You may rest assured that the dispatch yard is safe so long as I stand watch. Please give Papa Sean my thanks, and tell him that I only wish I could repay the favor. Time for bunny running! I don't know where all the music went. I guess it's nighttime, so there's no music. Western front clear, eastern front clear. For me, from Papa Sean, a Twilight pretzel? My favorite. How did he know? Can't bite on an empty stomach now, can I? Actually, I can bite on any stomach. I suppose you could say I have no stomach for biting. Oh, yes, the Final Fantasy tradition of bad jokes. Run, bunny, run. "12 saved me, scorching days, freezing nights. This post will be the end of me." A Twilight pretzel. Don't mind if I do. Ah, now that's a refreshing goddamn pretzel. I feel reborn. You're welcome for the pretzels. I don't know why pretzels are good for the desert. I would think it would be better if I was handing out some drinks or something, right? But whatever. Pretzels it is. You returned, and with the deal fewer pretzels, I see. Tell me, how far are Sultan's sworn sentries? Did they have anything to report? Anything at all? What? Nothing? Are you sure? Oh dear. Take this for your troubles then, and stay a moment. There is more I would ask of you. Alright, the weapons, I do say take one weapon though. But armor, you can live without the armor. Sophie, I have just this moment. No, the time for concealment is past. The truth is, even before I had you deliver those pretzels, I was privy to some most unsettling news. Which is the real reason I sent you to meet those Sultan Sworn. A young noblewoman from a very prestigious family has run away from home, and I have been ordered to see to her safe return. The Sultan Sworn you met earlier are assisting with the search. Alas, it seems they have found no trace of her. I apologize for not being frank with you from the start, but we must proceed with caution. Should word of her disappearance spread, I fear others with less honorable motives may join the hunt. And should we allow her to come to any harm, not even 100 beheadings would be punishment enough. That cannot happen, Sophie. It must not. I need you to help me find her. Praise the 12. I knew I could count on you. We only just met. How did you know you could count on me? I've instructed the others to expand the search, but Danland is vast and there are only so many of us. The young noblewoman's name is Lady Lilira. I want you to go south and look for her in the vicinity of the Sultan Tree. Good luck. Oh, Sultan Tree.
Oh, Sultan Tree, hallowed spirit of my line, forgive my weakness. My failings have cost us dear. Show yourself!
As you command, O Lilira. Forgive my selfish desire to assure your welfare.
I don't recall requesting an escort. Simply pretend we never met and continue on your way.
We both know I can do no such thing. It isn't safe for you here alone. It isn't safe for anyone. Not with this etheric disturbance. It's as though the dead are watching us. And I'd prefer not to join them, if it's all the same to you. Ah, you must be the one the Papa Shan mentioned. Congratulations on finding our elusive young charge. You'll have to forgive her impetuousness. What she lacks in discipline, she makes up for in stubbornness. You should return with us. The station master will be eager to thank Lady Lilira's protector in person. Alas, the station master will have to wait. Dear Lilira, for my sake, please stay out of harm's way. As for you, dear friend, for Lilira's sake, please stay in harm's way.
I don't want to say too much about the character since it's just Handsome Stranger, but I do want to point out that he's called Handsome Stranger, and that totally plays into exactly what I think about him, but we'll just put that on hold for the moment because I don't want to spoil things. This is a mini boss fight. You get one of these no matter which one of the cities you start in. You meet a character and have a fight where they help you. Interesting thing though about this character is Handsome Stranger is that you'll notice he's using a dagger, but his attacks look a lot like mine as a gladiator. And what's interesting about that is that the class that he was supposed to play doesn't exist or didn't exist at the beginning of the launch. So they just kind of like sort of made him into a gladiator, but he's not really a gladiator. But it doesn't really matter because in the long story tradition of Final Fantasy, this character has been blessed with the ability to be whatever the coolest thing is at the time. They make him one of those. So maybe now you have kind of an idea of what I think about him, but we'll just put that aside again. I do love this ability for paladins, though. This didn't used to exist. At launch, I could not do that thing where I spin around my blade like that. That's a new thing. This right here. It's freaking amazing, and it's the best thing they ever added to Paladin, I think, personally. I'm biased, though. Yay, victory. Whew.
Hear, feel, think. Crystal Bearer. I am Hydaelyn, all made one. A light there once was that shone throughout this realm, yet it hath since grown dim. And as it hath faltered, so hath darkness risen up in its stead, presaging an end to life. For the sake of all, I beseech thee, deliver us from this fate. The power to banish the darkness dwelleth in the crystals of light. Journey forth and lay claim to them. By thy deeds shall the crystals reveal themselves to thee. Only believe, for the light liveth in thy heart. Go now, my child, and shine thy light on all creation.
Ah, coming around now.
Would you mind telling me what that was?
If I only knew. A denizen of the void at any rate.
The void sent? Here? But how?
The question isn't how, but who. We're not dealing with bookless bandits. Don't suppose the answer came to you in a dream. No sooner did you fell the beast than you fell asleep. Too much ether, no doubt. Interesting. I hadn't considered the crystal. But of course, this changes everything. Oh, just thinking aloud? At any rate, we haven't a moment to spare. I must return and report this at once. I leave Lady Lilira in your capable hands.
How dare you pass me about like a swaddled babe? I shall return and tell them myself.
As you wish. your impetuousness. I suspect we shall meet again before long. Until then, do try and stay awake.
I bent you, I broke you, and I'm trying to fix this.